Shinobi or Shadow Dancer, two awesome arcade games that I played in the arcade and I thoroughly enjoyed and loved. Let's start with Shinobi. When this game came out, it was groundbreaking. Everyone was queuing around the arcade machine because there was nothing like this at the time, or at least nothing I can remember like that at the time. Now the sequel, or what we thought was a sequel, I'm not sure if it directly is, the games are very, very similar. In Shinobi, you rescue the kids. In Shadow Dancer, you collect the bombs. Once you collect the number of bombs, you get the power-ups. Like you can see here, the kind of ninja stars with a fire behind them. And in Shinobi, I have to say, the power-up does look cooler. It's like you've got some kind of gun attached to your chest. Now the biggest difference you notice between the two is in Shadow Dancer, you have a canine companion. Now when Shadow Dancer came out in the arcade, I still remember a friend of mine always used to come to my house and tell me about this game. And it was in a bowling alley we used to go to. It wasn't in the main part, it was upstairs where the air hockey was, and that's where I first played this game, and that's where I regularly played this game. I really like this. Now a few friends of mine, they always swear by the Mega Drive version, saying that's the better version. Maybe that's the better version for them and a lot of other people, but for me the arcade version is where it's at. I've thoroughly enjoyed this game. I love it, and I always play it on emulation. I really cannot wait for an FPGA core. I really hope it does happen. I think a Sega System 18 core will happen for the MiSTer, and I so look forward to it, and hopefully it will happen for the Analogue Pocket. The footage you're seeing for Shinobi, that's actually captured on the Analogue Pocket because Hotego recently released the Sega 16 core for the Analogue Pocket, and that is just so much fun. It's great to have an FPGA implementation of Shinobi, and hopefully we'll get Shadow Dancer in the future. Now if you look at the bosses, this is the first boss in Shinobi. He's got a weak part, which is his head that's glowing, and you're firing your ninja stars at his head. Look how cool the magic is. You press the button, and if you don't, I can't remember exactly how it works, but if you don't use your magic, as you kind of progress through the game, you get different levels of magic. That's more powerful. I guess it takes more hit points away from the boss. Now the first bosses were never really too difficult. The fire patterns were quite easy to follow, but you just shoot it in the head a few times and you're there, you get it. In regard to Shadow Dancer, when we have a look at the boss here, well, instead of the head, it's moved over to the arm, and instead of chucking fireballs, he's chucking bouncy balls at you. But these balls are explosive. You get touched by them, you die. And this was a one-hit game. There was a good bounce mechanic in this, where if the enemies don't attack you, you'll bounce off them, which you kind of used as a mechanic to get you through certain parts of the game, but it was one hit and dead. Now the bonus stages in there, this is where you really wanted to do well in the bonus stage, because by completing it you got an extra life. So this is the Shadow Dancer one. We started with the Shinobi one. Unfortunately I failed here, but I have passed it a few times. The Shinobi one I would say is easier than the Shadow Dancer one, but guys, you have to check these games out. These are two of the best arcade games out, two of the best ninja games ever made. Change my mind if you think there's better ones. There's definitely a lot of good ones out there, and I'd like to cover more ninja games on the channel. And I have to say, both games are they've just aged so well. I really hope we get an FPGA implementation in the future at some point for Shadow Dancer, because I would just love to play an arcade perfect version of it. I'm playing this on RetroArch, and it plays well on RetroArch. With RetroArch, it's got a feature called Run Ahead built in, which I use, and that kind of reduces a lot of the latency. The timings will still be different because we get the timings perfect via FPGA, but honestly I really cannot wait for like a MiSTer and an Analogue Pocket release of this. This is like one of my most highly anticipated cores. And guys, if you've not played Shinobi, where have you been? You need to play that. And if you haven't played the arcade version of Shadow Dancer, you need to play that now. It's difficult, it's tough, but look at that. You have a pet wolf that when he gets hit, he turns into, there was always an argument of whether it was a cat or a little puppy, but I'm on the side of it was a little puppy. Friends said it may have been a little cat. Now over here, just to finish up with, I'm really sorry if you've seen scan lines. I'll capture this on my Switch, and I was playing with scan lines on. This is the Sega Ages version of Shinobi, and I have to give this an honorable mention. This is made by M2, or M2 done the port, and guys, it is absolutely fantastic. It makes the difficult game easier. So if you want to kind of progress in this, there's some really good features. You start off with the powered up shot, which is great because you can get rid of some tougher enemies straight away. It's got a rewind feature. Like I just got there, I pressed the wrong button, and I was like, oh, I just wasted my magic. Let me just rewind that. So you can rewind that. That's another good thing. And your ninja is actually two colors. So you start off with the white overalls, and then once you take one hit, you then turn into what the normal color is. So you've got 2 hits effectively to get you through the game. It does make the game a lot easier, and it's quite cheap on the Switch. I think it's like $5.99 or so. So it's well worth picking up if you don't have an arcade, if you don't have an Analogue Pocket or a MiSTer, or you're not playing it any other way. The Switch version is fantastic. I really do enjoy it on the Switch. I've played it on the Switch, and I still intend to play more of it on the pitch. So here is the bonus stage. When you do actually complete it, you get the perfect sign. And honestly, I didn't rewind on that. I just cut some of it out to make it better for the video, but I did get that one first time on the Switch, and that was excellent in the arcade because you got yourself an extra life, and an extra life is what maybe would get you a little bit further. Here I am pressing the wrong button again, because while filming I didn't have my button set the way I normally do, and here I am taking on the second boss. But the Switch version, you can rewind if you do make a mistake. Now, one thing about the bosses in the original Shinobi, they always troll you. They come and troll you at the end of each level until you finally fight it. But as you can see, the weak point there was the front part of the helicopter, which you destroyed. We even had Shinobi in our school. We used to have a youth center for the older kids, but it was cool. We were allowed in there at lunch, and Shinobi was one of the games they had in there. And they had another game on there, in fact, called Last Duel, that I really do like. It's a Capcom shooter where you can be a spaceship as well as a car. But guys, that's it. I just wanted to talk about these games. I absolutely love them, and play these wherever you're going to play them, whether it's on emulation, whether it's on well, in the case of Shinobi, if it's on the MiSTer, the Analogue Pocket, or original hardware if you've got an arcade board and everything you need to set it up lying about. Ultimately, play it on emulation. The Switch version of Shinobi is fantastic. A lot of the Sega Ages stuff that's done by M2 is really good. But guys, share your thoughts about this. If you think there's a better ninja game out there or a better ninja series out there, then definitely let me know. If I haven't checked it out already, I definitely intend to check it out. But that's really it, guys. If you're not subscribed to the channel, then a subscription and a like, all that good stuff is super appreciated. Channel memberships are open, not required, but definitely appreciated. Anyway, guys, take care of yourself, take care of each other. This is Pixel Cherry Ninja out.